Let's go further in depth, continuing to talk about Mrs. Clinton's health. And to do so, we're pleased to be joined by our Newsmax health editor, Nick Tate. Nick, of course, the author of Da Vinci's Baby Boomer Survival Guide. I think we get a picture of it. Since we're both boomers, Nick, we appreciate your time here on America Talks Live. Let's talk about a boomer who is a bit our senior, Hillary Clinton. Now, her physician, Dr. Lisa Bardak, issued a statement yesterday saying that Hillary was diagnosed with pneumonia on Monday. She's on antibiotics. Obviously, you're a health editor, not a physician, but this delay in letting people know, I guess we have to accept the word on this, but this walking pneumonia or whatever it is, it's something not to be taken lightly.
Absolutely. Pneumonia is one of those conditions that it's kind of like a car accident. There are fender benders, there are minor conditions, and then there are fatal accidents. 50,000 Americans die every year from pneumonia, so it is not to be taken lightly. I think the big issue with this case, though, JD, is the way we found out about this. It really raises questions about whether we're getting the truth now or whether there's more to be told. Initially last week, we were told there were no problems. There was denial from the campaign that there was any issue. She went on Jimmy Kimmel and said, "Take my pulse," as you recall. Then the coughing jag later in the week, they said it was allergies. Then we had the incident yesterday with the video that's pretty troubling, and only then did we hear first overheating and dehydration, and then late in the day, actually, pneumonia, which was diagnosed on Friday. So that delay makes you wonder, are we really still getting the truth?
And of course, you got the snarky stuff from the Washington Post, Chris Cillizza, saying it was conspiracy theory. He had to backtrack big time yesterday. Politico with its typical snarky comments. But then yesterday on NBC and MSNBC, Andrea Mitchell with an interesting assessment. Let's take a look and get the reaction.
This was so botched. This was so mishandled. The whole issue of transparency. And this only reinforces all the conspiracy theories.
So they always make reference to conspiracy theories, but it looks like if they want to just assess most of the American people as part of a vast conspiracy, there's one out there. This is a real issue.
No question.
And with the treatment, antibiotics, we've had people on earlier, John Zogby, who had walking pneumonia, he said, man, she just needs to be in bed.
Right. Well, she's clearly not following anybody's advice here. First of all, about telling the truth, it seems to me. But secondly, if you have pneumonia, you really should not be spending a couple hours at a public event. You shouldn't be shaking hands. You know, that's probably how she contracted, if in fact that's what she has, is all of the social events she's doing, running herself down. So it is a serious condition. I mean, my hope is the point that should come out here is that if you are in this age group, 65 and older, CDC recommends you should be getting a vaccine. You should take care of your health. And the question, is she fit to be president? That's an open question, but it shows us that her response is not the textbook way to respond when you're sick.
Also last week, an email emerged showing that she or someone on her staff sought info about a particular drug.
Right.
What was that, and why is that important?
Provigil, it's a drug that's used to treat excessive sleepiness by the FDA, but it is also used off-label to treat excessive sleepiness in people with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Now, this was an exchange, an email exchange with one of her chiefs of staff at the Secretary at the State Department in 2011, and she was asking, what is it used for? The substance of the emails, I was reading them over the weekend and late last week, does seem to be tied to whether it's possible applications for military use. But we don't know why she was asking. Given her history with blood thinners, blood clots, she takes thyroid medication. She's clearly had problems with concussion and head injuries. It makes you wonder whether there might have been something else. And what we're not getting is the straight story from the campaign. So I think it's reasonable for people to have questions.
And when you don't get the straight story, it leads to all sorts of speculation and all sorts of opinions. For example, right now at 1-877-NEWSMAX, 1-877-639-7629, we've got a caller from Las Vegas. Sherilyn, you've got some thoughts on all of this.
Yes, JD. My daughter, I lost her in 2004 to epilepsy. And when she received epilepsy, she got it through encephalitis. That's the flu, and it was like, But anyway, she had epilepsy, and what it looked like to me was Hillary had a seizure. And they got her into the van, but she was, you know, in the midst of a seizure. That's what a seizure looks like, and they're very dangerous. My daughter died from a seizure. She was in her room getting ready for church and had a seizure and ended up in the wrong position between the bed and the nightstand.
Oh.
Well, what happens is secretion. She was to drown in her secretion.
Oh,
You see what I mean? So seizures cause inhaling of liquid. So that could be, you know,
Well,
there's
Cheryl Lynn,
congestion
first of all,
problems,
we're
too.
just so sorry about your daughter, and we know it's not easy to bring these subjects up, and we appreciate you doing that. And it transcends politics. No one wishes bad things on people, but to a layman, when I saw that herky-jerky motion on the video, it does tend for laymen to go, gee, is it something neurological? Is it something much more serious that not giving short shrift to pneumonia, but what might be going on? Now, you say there are 9 big questions. We only have a couple of minutes.
Right.
Give us the really big questions that are in your mind about this entire episode.
Well, the first question is what's really going on here?
The whole list.
Why not tell the truth about it right away had her handlers come out and said, in fact, you know, this is what it is? Well, that inspires a kind of compassion and sympathy as opposed to this incredible distrust. Has she been sick before, and do we not know about it? Why not go to the hospital if you're really sick? And there are obvious reasons it would create a media frenzy, but if that's what you need, get there. And, you know, the larger issue as we skip through this list here is how will she respond to future crises that involve her health? And what will people make of this latest incident? Does it feed the narrative that she does not tell the truth, that we're not getting the straight story? And even when it comes to something as serious as her health, we may not be getting the straight story. And I think that's the larger question. And that's a question that voters will ask in November. Do they believe her? Does she tell the truth? Is she fit or not?
And that question is one that is uppermost on the minds of the American people. We will see how it plays out. That question amidst the 9 you had, the notion that she goes to Chelsea's apartment instead of to an ER, and then up to Chappaqua. Presumably her physician makes house calls, being who she is and that, but still, doesn't she need hospital care? Nick.
And how do they know, based on just what they saw, that it's not anything significant?
Questions remain, and obviously it's something we're going to talk about more. We thank you very much for your time. Nick Tate, our Newsmax health editor. Of course, Nick, the author of the Baby Boomer Survival Guide. Tonight at 8 Eastern on Newsmax Prime, more about Hillary's health and the role it plays in the campaign. Betsy McCoy and Michael Reagan join us. Also with us, YouTube sensations Diamond and Silk. See you at 8 Eastern. Stay brave, stay free, stay tuned.